Joe, how do you size up this red-hot National League race right now?
Well, I felt for a long time, Ed, that the Brooklyn Ball Club is going to be the team to beat. They have stayed up in contention despite the fact that a good many of their players not only have been injured, but have had bad years. For example, Snyder and Furillo have not done well on the field up until the last several weeks, Snyder in particular. Koufax has been out, Padres has been out, Reese, who I think is the key man on their club, has been out most of the year with a number of injuries, assorted injuries, pretty much centered around his back. Milwaukee, of course, has hung in there despite a number of injuries, even more injuries than the Brooklyn club has had. And I think it's got to be Milwaukee or Brooklyn. Of course, that's only a personal opinion. You can't count out any one of the other three clubs. I don't think the Cardinals' pitching is going to hold up, that is, to win the pennant. I think they've got a pretty good pitching staff. But I think the Milwaukee and Brooklyn pitching staffs in particular are the best in the league.
Well, do they have any sort of a plan or a time schedule by which they hope to boost themselves up in the National League schedule?
Ed, we have a plan, but we have no time schedule as such. No 5-year or 10-year plan. Our hopes are to develop a pennant-contending ball club in Pittsburgh at the earliest practical moment. But I think we're on our way, despite the fact that this has been a disappointing year for us. I think we're probably 4 or 5 players away from having a contending ball club. I think we've got to have greater depth in our pitching. I think, too, that we've got to come up someplace with a power man to help Frank Thomas, somebody who can hit the ball out of the park once in a while. We have several such fellows in our minor leagues. Whether they can come through for us next year or not, I don't know. But I think the importance of new blood in an organization is pretty well shown by the development of the Philadelphia club into a contender this year. They came up with about 6 brand new fellas, I mean rookies for them, fellas who had not been regular in the National League before, and overnight they became a contending ball club. I think the same thing can happen with Pittsburgh.
Well, I understand the Pittsburgh fans have been standing back of you very well this year.
I'd have to say that Pittsburgh's the best town in baseball, and I don't leave out Milwaukee when I say that. Milwaukee's never had a bad ball club. Pittsburgh's had a number of them. Our crowds have been phenomenal and amazing and so encouraging. There's so much enthusiasm in Pittsburgh. The fans just want to like us. Frankly, we haven't given them too much to like, other than the fact that we've got a young ball club and one that hustles and somehow seems to lose an awful lot of tough ball games.
Well, Joe, what do you think about this proposed shift of the New York Giants and the Brooklyn Dodgers to the West Coast? How will it affect the Pirates and the other teams in the league?
Well, basically, as far as the effect of the shift on the Pittsburgh club, the one that I think will affect us more than anything else is scouting on the West Coast. I'm from California. That is, I moved out there at an early age, and I'm kind of an adopted Californian. I know that boys from California like to live in California. And I think that the Brooklyn and New York clubs, if and when they move and become Los Angeles and San Francisco, will pretty much sweep the boards in California. I think it'll give them a competitive edge in the field of scouting. And there are a tremendous number of fine prospects in the state of California, of course, because weather conditions make it possible for them to play baseball all year round. The boys, I think, high school-wise and college-wise, are ahead of most states. And it's going to present a real problem for us here.
Well, Joe, at the age of 39, you're the youngest general manager in Major League Baseball
Back
today.
up a year. I won't be 39 till September.
Okay, 38. What's your biggest break in baseball?
I think the biggest break is getting my present job. I've worked for it for a long time. Frankly, this is my 19th year in baseball. I'm not exactly a green pea, although maybe I seem young to some people. To me, it's been a long time in baseball. Most enjoyable. I started in a little town in West Texas, which is somewhat like this town, in that they had Class D baseball and a very highly enthusiastic bunch of people in town who loved the game. I'd have to say that getting the opportunity to do something that I'd worked pretty much all of my adult life for was the biggest break for me.
Well, now, you've seen a lot of the National League stars in action. Who would you pick as probably the greatest player in the National League today?
I'd have to pick the single fellow, in my opinion, who's the greatest player I've ever seen. That's Willie Mays. I think he can do more things than any player I've ever seen. There's no way that he can't beat you with a glove, with the arm, with his feet, with his power, every way that you can think of.